to yourself tonight. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Barbara Gannon. I'm a retired music teacher from the Union School District, and I also grew up there and benefited from many of the people that are teaching here and continue to teach in the present day. I'd like to address one thing you just said after visiting Binghamton High School today and seeing all the wonderful things that are still going on. May I remind you, teachers will go above and beyond. The call of duty, no matter how severely you handicap them, they will put their children first. You will continue to see successes. That does not justify the detriment of coming forward because you saw success today. Now to what I have prepared. I read in one of your biographies, Commissioner King, that you credit your public school teachers and experiences with, quote, saving your life as a young child. Thanks to some wonderfully creative teachers and the unique lesson plans they could develop for you, you thrived. You mentioned one teacher who took the time to teach you Shakespeare, the leaders of the world, their names, the capitals of the world, all this enrichment that shaped you. Another teacher afforded you the opportunity to be a sportscaster, interviewing an Aztec athlete. How memorable, what a hands-on experience that shaped you. Obviously, these were great, memorable learning experiences for your life that you still remark upon. So why would you strip away from these teachers and students these same elements of flexibility, creativity, and joy that you were afforded and that saved you?
Good evening. I'm one that already went through my class as a white suburban mom in Chemung County. Most importantly, though, I'm a mother of 4 young children, and I have a responsibility to make sure that they are educated in the best way possible. First, I wanted to point out some small donations made by the Gates Foundation to organizations that are affiliated with the implementation of Common Core, as a state-led effort. $83 million to the Council of Chief State School Officers, $39 million to the National Governors Association, the New York State Union of Teachers invested $1.7 million, $2.7 million to the PTA, $103 million to In Bloom, $11.5 million to Teach for America, the Teacher Corps, which many they claim on their website that many do not have any prior experience in the education field, but will be given certificates to teach after just a short 6-week training course. And last, but certainly not least, $3.3 million to the New York Regions Research Fund, a fund which also has received a generous $1 million donation to the James Merrill Tisch Fund. This has state-led all over it. We have been told over and over that Common Core has been a state-led initiative, and if this is true, I would like the names of all those in New York who participated in writing the standards. Although we've just been told that it was a bunch of teachers, but we know for a fact they were all people, representatives from the ACT, from the College Board, and from other organizations that have no teaching experience whatsoever. And they are opposing the standards on our children. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to why the group who wrote the standards admitted that the work group's deliberations would be confidential throughout the so-called open process. I can tell you that one of the ELA standard writers was the woman named Susan Pimentel. She is not from New York. Ms. Pimentel wrote a book in 1999 about the need for standards-led reform using assessments. She's never set foot in a classroom. We've also been told that the federal government had no hand in the writing or implementation of the standards. However, Ms. Pimentel is the vice president of the NAEP board, which has tested students throughout the country for decades. This position is one that is appointed by the Secretary of Education. In fact, Arnie Duncan reappointed her as the vice president in September of 2011. Therefore, Ms. Pimentel is and was a federal employee under the Department of Education at the time that the standards were written. How do you reconcile this with the statement that this has not been federally led? On a more personal level, my third grader just received his report card. He received a grade of 98%, and yet his number score was a 3. I asked his teacher why that would not be considered a 4, and I was told that 4s will not hardly ever be given because they will have to document how that child deserves to have a 4. So what incentive does a child who does a 98% on a letter grade score when they can get 70% basically, get the same grade. My first grader every day brings home paper that says test prep on his homework assignments. If it's not teaching a child to fill in a bubble in first grade, then what is it? Thank you.
Sir, and my name is Lana Pierce, and I am a mother of 5. I'm a product of the Binghamton City School District. I currently teach in the Binghamton City School District, and my educational philosophy is that of Keats. Education is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. And that is why I am here. That is why I was so frustrated to have to give my kindergartners a first ever library test. I want to be trusted and I want to be respected as the highly trained, certified New York State teacher librarian professional that I am. As a school librarian currently in 3 schools, because of budget cuts, I am passionate about literacy. And I am very interested in the research component for the Common Core. I understand that there may be a high school graduation requirement, but I have seen inquiry plans for research as early as kindergarten through 5th grade as well. Now, we elementary librarians are equipped to help with this challenge. We are uniquely prepared to collaborate with teachers and help. Yet we are often the first cut in a state that purports to be committed to rigorous literacy standards. Will you please put libraries and K-12 librarians into your research models and modules as partners and respect us as the educators we are? Thank you.
My name is Jan Strauss. I'm first a grandparent, but I'm also a retired legal athletic middle school Spanish and ESL teacher, and currently the student supervisor of student teachers for student department. This is my 46th year in education. I cannot even count the number of children, teachers, and student teachers that I have seen in tears this year as a result of NICED policies. That alone should tell you there's a problem, but you seem to choose not to hear. I implore you to stop forcing student teachers to do this new Ed TPA or electronic portfolio while they are trying to prepare lessons to student teach. Our methods classes that used to teach young adults research and methods for helping children learn are now forced to spend their time creating this monster portfolio. Really bad idea. But Pearson is making money. I ask you to stop the duplicity whereby you say that these Common Core standards, APPR, SLOs, and the standardized testing are absolutely necessary while exempting charter schools from these regulations. And this after we have doubled the number of charters in our state, and so we have twice as many students being denied these so-called improvements. Stop the plan to give our children's private information and please give us the moratorium on high-stakes testing. Stop the undemocratic takeover of the state education department by Merrill Tish's Regents research team. You claim any of these things are voluntary, that we don't have to test little ones. This is disingenuous at best. You know all teachers must test all students in September for the sole purpose of establishing a baseline upon which they, the teachers, will be judged when the children take more tests in June. I've seen the little ones marching from art teacher to music teacher to PE to take tests needed to fulfill your misguided agenda. It's time to trust and respect teachers. I have not seen that. Please stop this race to privatization and give us back our schools. Thank you.
What I'd like to talk about tonight is socialization and social and I'm a grandfather. Was a father, obviously, when kids were baby, and had the privilege of having wonderful teachers teach them. Now, with my granddaughter, she's being, I would say, emotionally held back because of all this testing that's going on. Her bright girl, not being given her chance to use her every move. But my state department, and you, Commissioner, and the speaker, see my hammer with the cat. State ed insists that kids are tested incessantly to collect data on student growth. State ed has imposed a new teacher evaluation system, the APER, to collect data on teacher effectiveness. The New York State Ed Department is now the only state education department in the union still planning to give data about students in bloom. Still in bloom. That election does not seem to be, seems to be at the heart of much of the state is doing. Here are my questions. One, what data do you have generated by credible studies that prove that the Common Core state standards resulting in high stakes testing will achieve better results than the already in place New York State learning standards and no high stakes system? What data do you have from pilot programs that show that students will be better educated compared to post-secondary efforts than these New York State learning standards? What data do you have that students' creativity and ingenuity will be greater than that achieved with the New York State learning standards? What data do you have that proves by not giving teachers a list of incorrect answers on all of the testing will improve both students and teacher performance? What data do you have that proves that new teacher evaluation process, the APER, will result in better teaching and better teachers? And finally, what studies and pilot programs about the Common Core standards, all the new student testing, all the new curricula, and the new teacher evaluation, and you cite that have proven any improvement in student growth over and above that achieved by New York State learning standards, the whole curricula and additional student testing?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth G. Johnson. I'd like to bring us back to the students, and I'd like to paint a picture of what happened at the beginning of the school year. The new little kindergartners arrived with their new shoes and their new little haircuts, all ready for parents full of hope. But little did those trusting parents know that this was the largest cohort. Those young children didn't even know how to tie their shoes. They did not know how to write their names. For the first course of action on the arrival was to test as well as the children. This isn't really a choice. We really do have to test. We do this to kids all the time. We say to them, if you want to secure, you want to secure. But the truth is, they're going to set. And that's what's happening to us in the classroom. That's what's happening to us in the class. So, upon their arrival, we tested these vulnerable children. There were deadlines to meet. There was baseline data to gather. These kindergartners were tested in art. They were tested in music, phys ed, library, and of course, whether coming to next teacher. You see, they've got some college for the very soon. The data is required for both scores, not just for the student, but for the teacher, the parent, and the school district. You might be wondering, how reliable are the scores of those 5-year-old children? How valid are the scores of those children? Are they reliable enough? Are they valid enough to have our professional reputation? Is this how we define students? Let's take this one piece at a time and let's unbundle. Let's separate each piece of the problem. And this is just one example of mandates getting in the way of children getting good public
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Penelope Harper. I have a daughter who's in 8th grade right here in Louisville. I also teach at Brooklyn University. And I've seen, like, there's been so many different educational reforms that come through over the years. And mostly, as far as I can tell, they're just buzzwords. Just new buzzwords for the same stuff. But I think Common Core is a little different because what it does is it turns teachers into robots, I think, much more than any other curriculum reform has done. And also, it does not teach, it's kind of citizenship question. We're making students career-ready, college-ready, but are we turning them into thoughtful citizens? My main concern with this forum is that actually by making it about the
proud member of the Lincoln Teachers Association, 19 years here in the district, chose to move here from Rochester because I love Binghamton and the surrounding neighborhoods and the surrounding communities. And to me, pardon me, I had like 19 sheets of paper going in terms of what I want to talk about because this is such a big issue. So I decided to be like a 7th grade student, so across the hall here and wing it. So my biggest concern is that the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. This is a picture of my 5-year-old who started kindergarten this year, and like all the other stories, had to take test after test after test. She's probably going to make it because she comes from a family that has the support. Last night we spent 2 hours doing homework for kindergarten. There's a lot of reading and stuff, there's important things. But as I walked into my classroom this morning, I was trying to think how many of my 119 students come from a family that's going to be able to provide them that support at home. And Commissioner King, just when you were doing the reflection and talking about different things, you talked about addressing poverty and stuff like that. And if the solution is to, like Rochester, having a pilot program going another 2.5 hours at some of the elementaries, if you think 25% dropout rates is a bad number, this is teaching the kids to hate their education. And I see the passion gone in their eyes. And I was talking to a member of your staff before we started here, and his one question after I talked about a couple things was, well, don't you think the teachers have a part in that test anxiety? Don't the teachers, he turned it around. We love the kids and we love education and we love what we do. But the sadness and the tears, and when my neighbor across the street tells me his 8th grader is refusing to go to school anymore in a neighboring district, when my aunt is calling me and saying her 4th grader has question after question after question and act after act after act, and they don't care anymore about success because of the Common Core. It's a travesty, and I really hope that something happens because of this one. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
My name is Christina Bagel. These are my sons, Jonathan and Joseph, and my friend Rosa. And we're from the Vigo Lincoln Central School District. I'm here today as a parent and an educator. To me, those roles are inseparable. Both put me in the role of protector and advocate. Tonight I speak as a teacher mother, and there is nothing as fierce as a teacher the governors. Tonight, I'm calling on the governors, on everyone here, every parent in New York State, every teacher in every school in almost 700 districts, to focus all of our collective registered voter outrage, where will have the greatest impact.
Time is up.
Yeah, tell the assembly we're coming for them. Educational malpractice and institutional child abuse. We're coming, we're angry, and we vote.
Time is up. Please.
My name is Kate O'Halfager, and I am a PTSD professor from Bureaucrest. I also have a certificate in Bureaucrest and a 10th grader in the high school. And start by saying first that I am so glad that my 10th grader is not subjected to this curriculum. She will not be in the 2006, she'll be in the class that beats out the realism implementation. She is an introvert. She has a few issues with learning, and I think students like her are the ones who are left behind in this curriculum. That being said, my 7th grader, who is a high level student, who scored a 2 on these tests, both of them, a high 2. She will be fine. She's an intelligent girl. However, I do agree with, I'm not going to say anything that anyone has already said. The implementation was ugly. The teachers last year did not have a curriculum to teach. They were mimeographing everything. I do believe it's better this year. I went through West Middle School twice. This is my 2nd time. The teachers were very enthusiastic in my first one. Curriculum night this year, it was very solemn. They were as enthusiastic as they can be, but their hands are tied. The teachers cannot teach. They are losing their creative license. Also, on the note, Commissioner King, you mentioned the Binghamton High School music program. Well, I have said in the last few years, because of the Common Core, the curriculums are being cut. Teachers are losing their jobs in favor of teachers who teach more curriculum. It's a concern. I know that reform has to happen. I know there's a problem with education in the United States. But I think that we need to take a step back. I think we need to have concerned parents, teachers, and administrators come together and find a solution within the Common Core.
My name is Anthony Antonello. I'm a journalist and researcher. I'm not a professional teacher like everybody here, but I would like to say that I hold people's feet to the fire for a living, okay? And what I have seen here tonight, just so you know, you're not as clever as you think by doing these 15 people, because if you had to answer to every one of these teachers that came out here tonight, these 30 people that you let speak, not one person, not one time did somebody say, this is a great idea. What they did was give you well-documented, well-sourced facts on how this is a complete failure. And the mainstream media might not hold you all accountable as you sit up there and not say one word. But I guarantee you that I will make sure that this entire meeting will be online for the entire world to see. Okay? Now, with that being said, because she has not said one word tonight, Meryl Tisch, in my researching, and it has been said tonight by many teachers who did their research, okay, has a vested interest in this Common Core, as people have already mentioned. A